Hi everyone, Sinister Sheep here, and today you're gonna read a fucking book, cause I told you to. So I'm gonna be doing book reviews for, I don't know how long, just whatever the fuck I feel like stopping. Cause I've been reading a lot recently, and I'm not like other booktubers. Yeah, that's right, I'm cool and hip.
Maybe if you got rid of that old yee ass haircut you got, you get some bitches on your dick.
No, but I'm not gonna be like, a lot of booktubers just assume you already read books, so they don't try to convince you if you're a new reader. I'm gonna be reviewing either whole trilogies that I've read, or I'm going to be reviewing just first books of a series if I haven't read the entire trilogy. I've tried to make this video like 3 times, so this is my final attempt right now. The first book that we will be reviewing is the Red Rising series, and the first book is Red Rising. It is a trilogy of books written by Pierce Brown. He has another sequel trilogy, but I haven't read those yet, so, and this is an introductory video, so like I'm not gonna review the other sequel ones unless if I get a bunch of comments and stuff like that. Comment, like, and subscribe, please. I'm desperate. We sell dirt. Make sure to dislike all their videos. So yeah, let's get on with the fucking review. Jesus Christ. So about 700 years ago, from the current timeline of this book, a group called the Golds went out into space and took over the moon. And they were initially part of the original Earth government, the government we know today. That's totally not corrupt, and it's not like, there wasn't an attack on the state capitol yet last week. Nothing is wrong in America. But basically, the Golds took over Luna, and they were just like, aka the moon, and they were just like, we're just gonna start our own government now and take over the entire galaxy. If you don't mind, Earth, we're just gonna do that. Okay, great, love you. And the Earth is like, no, fuck that. So then they get into this giant war, and the Golds win, and they're like, okay, so that whole bullshit about all men are created equal? Fuck that. We're gonna do a new hierarchy, and this hierarchy is basically a social class system based on colors. So you have your Golds, like I mentioned before, which are like upper class, rich of the rich. They're politicians, they're warlords, all that stuff. Then you have like your mid-tier colors, which are like blues, aka pilots and stuff like that. Then you got the lowest of the low, reds. And guess which color our main character is. Can you get? It's red. That was really cringy. I hated all of what I just did.
Hey, stop! Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit.
We follow our main character Darrow, who is a minor because, he's 16, but he's also like his colors dig up like resources and stuff like that, and give it to the higher ups or whatever. After the first 50 pages, something, which I won't spoil, something happens to Darrow, and he wants to rebel. So then he finds this rebelling group called the Sons of Aries. Their attempt to overthrow the Golds, basically, because the Sons of Aries are all reds. Aries, god of war, Mars, get it? So their attempt to overthrow the Golds is to do kind of a sabotage thing where they're going to disguise Darrow as a Gold, and then he's going to go into the Gold like military academy for kids his age. They're going to compete in a competition, and then whoever wins the competition gets recognition, fame, glory, and then Darrow's going to climb up the hierarchy and just take it all over. Red's good, Gold's bad, kill them all, basically. That's at least the initial plan. As the series progresses, it gets more complicated, but that's basically the main plot of the first book. The whole series follows Darrow in the first person point of view, which I think if you're trying to get back into reading, first person is definitely what you want to do. There's nothing like Wheel of Timey. Not that there's anything wrong with Wheel of Time, but it's more easy to follow. Like in Wheel of Time or Tolkien, like they'll spend like fucking 20 pages describing a dress, and it's like, can we just move on, kind of thing. Whereas the Red Rising series in first person doesn't have a problem with that. Darrow is a really good main character, and you support him all the way through. You may not support all his choices, but you support how he came to those conclusions, basically. And the whole cast of characters, I mean, the majority of the time, they're mostly golds. Darrow starts to feel kind of like, are these people really bad? Like, do we give them a bad rep? I mean, their ideologies are bad, but them as people are good. So Pierce Brown is kind of trying to be like, listen, people with different ideologies may be bad, but maybe they're not bad people. Now, some of these can range from just, I just followed the system all my life, it's all I know, to like, yeah, we are Hitler and there's no redemption for us. So you get like two types of golds, basically. But yeah, so that's basically the plot. Let's get into characters. So I'm just going to be covering 3. Our main boy, Darrow. Again, his determination to not just overthrow the government, but to create a new type of government that isn't as corrupt as what the Golds created. And, you feel sympathetic for him. He's also got a couple love interests, which are interesting. It doesn't feel shoehorned in. They don't get together within the first book. It takes, the whole trilogy to develop the relationship he's currently in. So it's not one of those teeny boppy type of stuff. That's another thing. This book constantly gets confused as YA just because of the covers. It's not YA. Some of this stuff is grim, dark, like Joe Abercrombie type shit. Like some Game of Thrones type, holy shit, I did not see that coming. Mustang is a really good character. In the first book, she's kind of meh, kind of generic love interest. But then, after Golden Sun, she just gets a total, like, reincarnation, and she's just way better as a character afterwards. She's no longer the generic love interest. She's her own character. It's freaking awesome. And you have Servo, which is like the crazy best friend type of thing, and he's really good. I didn't think much of him in the first book, but second and third, he was definitely one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character. So this is a really interesting read, especially if you're not into sci-fi. If you're straight off of the Hunger Games bandwagon, this is a perfect fit in. It's basically the adult Hunger Games, the better Hunger Games, because we know Mockingjay, that book fucking sucked. Besides that, yeah, so the Red Rising saga is really, really solid. It has solid characters, a solid world. What I like in my reading is, and my stories, are the politics of the world. And, it's not like Hunger Games where it drops the politics right after the first book. It's constantly there in the background because Darrow's a red, he's constantly living with Golds, and his viewpoint of the society is constantly shifting. So, yeah. So that's it for the review. I hope I convinced you guys to read these books. If not, just pick up the first one. The first one is a little generic. Second one, awesome, way better. Third one, satisfying conclusion. And I'm going to be taking a break from the series for a while. There's 2 more books that I still need to read. That's part of the second trilogy, but I am going to let some breathing room in. I don't want some burnout, although these books are just amazing. If you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to share. A couple plugins. Markeith Black, my co-host of the Sheep and Friends podcast. All his stuff is on all music streaming platforms, so check that out. And then we have my co-host for the Sheep and Weebs, Peter. He has a podcast and a Twitch, which links over here. A less superior podcast, in my opinion, called We Sell Dirt with his boy Randall. Check their channel out. I know, if you want, but Sheep and Friends is way better. By the way, that's my podcast. Just a quick plug-in right there. So yeah, that's basically the video. I don't know how to wrap these videos up. Eat your vegetables. Bye.
like a deity, reading through the poems, looking fresh in the Nike feet. Posture looking good, back straight, looking at the dream. Can I ever slide away from your haunting gleam?